back to the show. Gerardo, Nick, and we're here to talk about the Halloween movie of the season. Halloween Ends. You know, it's a time for pumpkins, spooky ghosts, poltergeist, and love. You know, what's more Halloween than a true bromance, romance?
Lots of love. I love Michael Myers, love Laurie Strode. Halloween Ends though, I did not leave the theater a happy fan. I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth here. I really loved the last couple of films that came out. I thought that this movie here did a good job in being a completely different Halloween movie. We haven't seen this Halloween movie before. That being said, when it comes to being a creature of habit and watching the same old goddamn thing over and over again and watching the other ones, I was not seeing my Michael Myers in this movie. What happened? I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Michael, who? I think you meant to say Corey, what's his face? I don't know who this Michael Myers you speak of, because is he some extra? Was he he must have walked in the background or something, because this was the Corey, the movie, the experience, the show.
This movie picks up 4 years later. It's a broken Haddonfield. Everybody's picking each other up. It picks up with this character Corey, you know, a year later on Halloween night, babysitting, and this tragic accident happens. Cue the next half an hour of the movie, and then we finally find out that Michael Myers is still there, which I was hoping was going to be a part of the plot at some point.
I knew at a certain point I was like, this is going to be controversial. People are going to feel some sort of way about this, but I was fully on the Corey train. Like, I was like, yo, I don't know what title movie this would be, but whatever this movie was, I was on board. They messed up by calling it a Halloween movie though. Like if this had a different title and at the 30-minute mark you were like, oh, Michael Myers. Oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe this is like a weird spin-off thing. Like, I wouldn't assume it would be the climactic ending to this film, but the beginning of the movie brings up some very interesting concepts with the communal trauma that this town is experiencing. And Laurie, on the other hand, it's, you know, rainbows and sunshine. She's writing the great American novel, her story, just clacking away on that keyboard, and she's going to the supermarket, got guys flirting with her, she's down on that, like everything's coming up Millhouse for her. So good stuff there. We still have the residual post Judy Greer daughter relationship, and then I guess, you know, the Tinder game isn't as strong when you're like, isn't your grandma the lady that was in that, you know, intense battle with Michael Myers? Is like, oh yeah, that's my grandma. I could understand that being an interesting thread, but then the decision to make that like her main storyline, again, it was weird.
I think the moment that the mask changes place from a tussle, it was almost unredeemable. Okay, we'll forget that he was indestructible, being shot, you know, fucking countless times. I'm getting choked up here. And let's skip ahead. Now he's a senior citizen 4 years later, and that, you know, maybe all the injury he took, he's not the same guy. That's why he hasn't been out in 4 years. And he kills somebody, and then he's starting to get strong again. He does this like little like bone cracking thing, and it's like, okay, he's getting his energy back, cool. And it turns into, give me the mask, I need the mask, I'm gonna take the mask from you. And he literally strong arms Michael in the sewers and takes the mask and becomes the new Michael Myers epitome, which, like, cool scenes with Corey, like, cool scenes. But that's not the goddamn movie I went to go see.
When that scrap between Corey and Michael Myers, like, yo, this is straight up senior abuse. Like, it wasn't even the tussle. I don't like, even calling it a tussle feels like, okay, I'm giving Michael too much credit, because he literally just shoved Michael over, and then he's just like old man cowering in the sewer, and it's like, damn, that's really all it took. Like, damn, okay. Yeah. There's a scene where Corey and Michael, apprenticeship, murder happens, and then they exit the scene, and there's this shot of Corey riding away on his motorcycle. And I think like 70% of people were like, was that Michael Myers on the back of that motorcycle? And the fact that that was even believable is insane.
It's unfortunate because there's a lot of redeeming factors of Halloween Ends. Like, I loved seeing Darcy the Mail Girl.
Oh, that was
awesome.
great.
I was like super excited. They have some really cool scenes, and it's just like they try to make you fall in love with this lovable scamp, and that's just becoming his own. It took the wind out of my sails, and it made me not feel vested at all in any character in the film. And for that matter, for Laurie, like I wasn't vested in anybody. I think they tried to go for something that was different, maybe based off of Halloween Kills reception. Like Halloween Kills was great. Like, I thought it was awesome. Like, it was a full-blown Michael Myers slasher. We haven't gotten a really good Michael Myers slasher. I just was not happy with it. Like, it just did not. When I left the theater, I just remember just my first reactions being like, I did not like this movie.
I saw it on Peacock, so I was like $9 on my couch. I was just munching popcorn and yelling at the screen. I was like, this was the best way. I couldn't imagine being in a theater. Just the probably an audible silence. What credence do you give to the fact that this is the definitive, final, no more John Carpenter Halloween universe? Like, do you believe it? Is it to be true?
To be honest with you, I'm kind of washing my hands with it. I mean, I'm sure at some point in time there's going to be a revamp or a redux. I mean, it's hard though. Like, you spent all this time and money into creating a new trilogy. I mean, you're talking at least 10 years.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's like 2 years from now they're like, all right, here's the real one. That's
the problem is like, you know what I mean? When you have that much vested into like this many sequels, it's like, you know, it's like, imagine you can't, like, Friday the 13th is easy, but it's like you have such complex characters and you've done so much work. It's like, I don't know if fans would be excited for another sequel right now, just because it's like, where do you go from here? I know some people really like the sequel. I've had a lot of friends that said, hey, you know, I enjoyed it and I thought it was really cool. And it was like, hey, it was something different. Cool. Hopefully all the Halloween fans feel that way and they all love it and they change their mind or whatever it is, but I could not.
Final consensus for me, I think I can definitely understand the trick-or-treater mentality where you looked inside your Halloween jack-o'-lantern and old man Michael put some candy in there that you weren't expecting. And I'm over here on my side, hey, free dentures, you know, I'll take them. 30 minutes in, I knew it. I knew this was going to be controversial. And that's probably my most favorite thing, because as we just did Hellraiser, that was a pretty unanimous, like, this is great. That was kind of the extent of the conversation. Like, I also enjoyed it. And this was just thread upon thread of people just posting memes. I think my favorite part of this movie is not the movie itself, it's just all the discourse, it's just all of the back and forth. Like, it's I'm assuming really disappointing as a fan, just like the mockery that's being made out of it. But I think that's an aspect of horror movies, and maybe kind of the remaking of this film in the future, as far as like kind of like reception, will be shaped by this kind of memeage of the film now. Will they make it a better movie in the future, or hindsight 2020? Probably not. But I'm enjoying it right now. So I'm gonna go and say 3 out of 5. And even that 3 out of 5 is with that big caveat that I am not the Halloween fan this was targeted at, but what they did include, I consider to be a weird success, but not the decision I would have made for horror fans. What about you, Mr. Nick?
You know, honestly, I'd probably say 2 stars, just because, I was really, like, the main redeeming quality for me was, you know, it does definitively end, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool seeing Darcy the Mail Girl, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of cool seeing her in the film. But aside from that, yeah, 2 stars. It's not something I want to buy. It's not something that I want to repost or advertise. Like, I'm just letting it be a sleeping dog and let it lie.
Just like we all want to lie with the dreamy man that is Corey. Gerardo, Nick, like, subscribe, all the things. Cowboy, not cowboy. We're not cowboy. boys, we're camp counselors. Camp counselor Creole, Mr. Nick, hit us with it.
Blood, guts, spit, and ass. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll, man.